You are not here by accident. This sacred moment has been gently prepared by heaven just for you. No matter what burden you carry, financial pressure, family tension, illness, or emotional weight, there is still hope. Saint Anthony of Padua, the miracle worker, is reaching toward your heart with compassion. Stay close, because something holy is about to begin. Stop everything. This is not just a prayer, it is a doorway. If you feel exhausted, anxious, or afraid of what's ahead, breathe. Your breakthrough doesn't start with noise, it begins with surrender. And this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles might be the turning point you didn't know you were waiting for. Stay until the end, because heaven is listening. Se você aprovar, prosseguirei com o pedido de intercessão. 3 parágrafos de 6 linhas, abrindo o grande gancho emocional e gerando conexão com o público. St. Anthony, beloved friend of the forgotten and protector of those in pain, we come to you with hearts that can barely speak. The weight of unpaid bills, broken families, and lost hope presses down like a storm. But we believe that nothing is too far gone when placed in your hands. You who held the child Jesus, hold us now. Touch what is wounded, find what is missing. We lift up every desperate situation, every silent tear, every closed door. You are the saint who makes the impossible shift, the one who restores what life has stolen. Step into our mess with your divine intercession. Bring a miracle where there has been only delay. Make a way where there has been only waiting. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony for urgent help become the start of something sacred. To anyone hearing this with trembling faith, don't leave. Your breakthrough may be tied to the last word of this prayer. Stay until the end. Heaven is waiting for your yes. If this prayer speaks to you, type Amen in the comments. That one word is not small, it's surrender. It's your miracle in motion, and what comes next could change everything. When everything seems lost, miracles begin. When life feels like it's falling apart, that's usually when heaven begins to rebuild. You don't see the blueprint yet, but St. Anthony does. He steps into the ruins of your pain and whispers, it's not over. It's in the silence, in the emptiness, in the there's nothing left moments that the roots of your miracle are planted. The miracle often doesn't come when you feel strong. It comes when you feel broken. Many people think faith means never feeling fear. But the truth is, faith begins right there, in fear, in failure, in the middle of what looks like the end. That's where St. Anthony shows up. He finds what others missed. He walks where others gave up. He restores what seems gone forever. You don't need to have it all together. You just need to be open. Imagine losing everything, your job, your sense of direction, your hope. That's where a woman named Teresa was when she cried out in a whispered prayer to St. Anthony. Days later, a job offer came from someone she hadn't heard from in years. Coincidence or grace? What matters is this. The miracle didn't wait for her to feel worthy. It began the moment she believed again. This is what the St. Anthony prayer is all about. It's not polished. It's not fancy, it's real. It's the cry of someone who's done pretending they're okay. And that's where it becomes powerful. The prayer to Saint Anthony for desperate cases works because it rises from a place of truth. And heaven always responds to truth. There's a hidden gift in feeling lost. It forces you to seek, to ask again, to knock with sincerity. Saint Anthony isn't just the patron of lost things. He's the guardian of lost peace, lost identity, and lost time. He gathers the shattered pieces of your life and says, "Watch what I can do with this. You're not too far gone. Nothing is ever wasted." Have you written down your prayer? Try it. Be specific. Say what you need. Say what feels impossible. If you need $500 to survive the week, name it. If you need healing from cancer, name it. Don't be vague with heaven. Specific faith activates specific miracles. Saint Anthony listens with precision. Sometimes we think we need to pray perfectly. But the most powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is the honest one, the tired one, the "I have no idea what to say" one. When your mouth is silent, your heart still speaks. And Saint Anthony hears it. He translates your silence into holy language. In the middle of darkness, Saint Anthony doesn't need a spotlight. He brings his own light. He steps into your shadowed room and brings clarity, comfort, and conviction. He's not intimidated by your mess. In fact, he runs toward it. Why? Because your weakness invites God's strength. And Saint Anthony knows the way to both. There's a reason people say their lives changed after this prayer. It's not hype, it's not scripted, it's transformation. The moment you stop trying to fix everything and start inviting Saint Anthony into it, things shift, not always instantly, but deeply, invisibly, powerfully. If you felt stuck, defeated, or overwhelmed, let this mystery remind you, the beginning of your miracle looks like the end of your strength. You're closer than you think. This is not your breakdown, it's your breakthrough. And it starts with one whisper of faith. Say it aloud. Saint Anthony, help me. That's enough. That's your yes. That's your start. Don't wait for fireworks. Look for peace. Don't chase signs. Trust presence. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony isn't a ritual. It's a lifeline. Hold on to it. Because the moment when everything seems lost is exactly when miracles begin. The miracle hides inside the waiting. Nobody enjoys waiting. It feels like punishment, like heaven is ignoring you. But what if the delay is not a denial? What if it's preparation? Saint Anthony knows that waiting room well. He walks alongside those who feel forgotten and whispers, "Stay a little longer." Because something sacred is being formed in the silence. You've prayed, you've cried, you've hoped, and still nothing seems to change. But let me tell you a truth you might not feel. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't working. Some of the greatest miracles are grown in hidden places. Saint Anthony is planting something in your life right now, even if you don't feel the soil shift yet. Think of a seed. When it's buried, It looks like nothing is happening. It's dark, lonely, unseen, but under the surface, roots are forming, strength is developing. That's how your faith grows in waiting. The longer it stays planted in prayer, the stronger it will rise in breakthrough. There's power in patience, not the kind that passively gives up, but the kind that holds on when everything screams, "Let go." St. Anthony isn't rushing your miracle. He's refining it, making it personal, tailored, timed perfectly, so that when it comes, it fits your life in ways you didn't even expect. One man waited years to reunite with his son. They hadn't spoken after a painful argument, but every night he whispered the St. Anthony prayer for family restoration. One day, completely out of the blue, the phone rang. "Dad, can we talk?" That's not luck. That's a miracle born in waiting. The urgent miracle prayer to St. Anthony isn't just about speed, it's about surrender. When you say, "I trust you even if nothing changes today," heaven listens. That kind of trust shakes things in the unseen world. It's not weakness, it's holy strength. Don't measure God's faithfulness by how fast he moves. Measure it by how close he stays. Even in silence, St. Anthony stays close. He stands beside your unanswered prayer like a guardian, not letting it fall to the ground. He carries it forward when your arms get tired. Use this season to feed your faith. Read stories of answered prayers. Light a candle every morning and speak your request again. Keep a notebook of what you're asking for. Talk to someone who believes with you. These small actions create space for big blessings. St. Anthony isn't ignoring your cry. He's holding it, cherishing it, presenting it before the throne of grace at just the right moment. The delay isn't about your worthiness, it's about your preparation. Sometimes God builds the miracle and you at the same time. If you're tired of waiting, breathe. You're not failing. You're forming. You're being made ready to carry what you asked for. And maybe you needed this pause to grow into the person who can receive it without fear. St. Anthony sees your growth even when you don't. Say this out loud, even if it hurts. I will wait with faith. Not because you enjoy the waiting, but because you trust the one who waits with you. That phrase unlocks something in the spiritual realm. It tells heaven you're not quitting, you're becoming. And when the miracle does arrive, and it won't feel random. It will feel right, perfect, worth every tear. Because you didn't just survive the wait, you were transformed by it. And St. Anthony walked with you every step of the way. The power of intercession, you are not alone. There's something profoundly comforting in knowing you don't have to carry it all alone. When the burden is too heavy, when your strength is gone, intercession steps in. That's where St. Anthony shines. He stands in the gap between your desperation and heaven's response. When your voice trembles, his remains steady. You're not just speaking into the air, you're speaking into eternity, and St. Anthony hears. He's not a distant figure from the past. He's a present companion, deeply aware of your pain. He lifts your name gently to God, like a sacred offering, and says, "This one is in need. let mercy flow. Think of the people who have whispered his name in despair and seen impossible things unfold. A mother once lost her child in a crowded city. In panic, she cried out, "Saint Anthony, please!" Minutes later, a stranger returned her daughter unharmed. That's not chance. That's love in motion. The most powerful prayer to Saint Anthony isn't always loud. It's often whispered through tears. It doesn't need perfect words. It needs honest surrender. And when that happens, something shifts. The atmosphere changes. Peace enters the room. You begin to feel held. When you pray to Saint Anthony, you're not just asking for help. You're inviting someone who understands suffering, who lived simply, who loved deeply. He gets it. He gets you. And he responds to broken hearts with gentle authority. There's a rhythm to this prayer. It's not a one-time request, it's a relationship. A dialogue between your pain and his presence. The St. Anthony Novena becomes a heartbeat in your day, a holy space where heaven and earth meet again and again. Many forget that intercession is not passive, it's powerful, it's spiritual action. St. Anthony moves through locked doors, hardened hearts, and empty bank accounts. He steps into what seems dead and speaks life. Into what seems hopeless, he breathes possibility. A woman once said her home was destroyed in a flood. Insurance denied her claim. She lit a candle and prayed the emergency prayer for financial help to St. Anthony. Within days, a community fundraiser paid for her relocation. That's not coincidence, that's divine orchestration. You don't have to know how the miracle will come. You just have to ask. That's the beauty of intercession. You speak with faith, and St. Anthony delivers the message with love. He amplifies your whisper until heaven roars in response. Even when your faith is weak, he stands strong. That's the mercy of intercession. It fills in the gaps. When you can't see the light, St. Anthony becomes the torchbearer. When you can't find the words, he becomes your voice. Try this today. Find a quiet moment. Speak your need, then pause. Say, "Saint Anthony, carry this for me." Imagine him taking it from your hands and walking it up to heaven. That image alone is powerful enough to calm an anxious heart. There's no shame in asking again or again. St. Anthony doesn't grow tired of your requests. He doesn't roll his eyes at repetition. He welcomes persistence, because persistent prayer reveals a heart still hoping, and hope is a magnet for miracles. What if your breakthrough is one prayer away? One sincere "Saint Anthony, please," from a shift you've waited years to see? Don't let doubt silence your petition. Speak boldly. Heaven honors bold faith, even if it comes from a trembling soul. Write this on your mirror: I'm not alone. Let that truth echo through your day. Whether you're facing surgery, eviction, or heartbreak, St. Anthony is already praying for you. That's not a myth. That's real spiritual warfare on your behalf. So pray, again and again, not with fear, but with expectancy. Because the prayer to St. Anthony for urgent help is not just heard, it's carried. And it reaches the throne of God wrapped in compassion and power. surrendering everything, letting go to receive more. There's a moment in every journey of faith when you realize you've done all you can. You've prayed, fought, waited, cried, and still the door hasn't opened. That's when surrender begins, not giving up, giving over. Saint Anthony doesn't force his way in. He waits until you say, I let go. Letting go is one of the hardest spiritual steps. It means trusting that God's timing is better than yours, that heaven's plan is stronger than your plan, that Saint Anthony sees what you can't, and that your miracle might not be delayed, it might just be unfolding in a different way. Imagine someone clenching their fists, holding tight to anxiety, control, fear. Nothing can come in. Now imagine them slowly opening those hands in prayer. That's surrender. That's what makes room for grace. And that's when the holy prayer for impossible requests begins to flow. Saint Anthony often responds after surrender. A woman once wrote down her biggest fears on paper, lit a candle and whispered, I give it to you, Saint Anthony. 2 days later, the job she thought was gone forever opened up again. The position, better than before. You don't need to earn a miracle, you need to receive it. And receiving requires space. When your heart is filled with worry, there's no room for wonder. Surrender empties you of fear so heaven can fill you with peace. It creates space for what only God can do. Try this today. Write down what you've been holding too tightly. Fold it. Place it under your pillow or next to your candle. Say out loud, I release this. It could be your finances, a broken relationship, your health. Make it tangible. Make it sacred. Saint Anthony walks closely with those who trust. He's not impressed by performance. He's drawn to authenticity. If your faith is messy, that's okay. If your prayer is shaky, that's okay too. Surrender is not about strength. It's about release. We often think surrender looks like silence, but it's actually movement. It's not passive, it's powerful. It says, God, I'll take the next step, even if I can't see the whole road. That's when Saint Anthony shows up with unexpected directions and divine surprises. Some people pray and then panic. They give it to God, and 5 minutes later they take it back. But real surrender means letting go and leaving it in his hands. It means believing Saint Anthony is already carrying it forward while you rest. This doesn't mean stop praying. It means pray differently, with peace instead of pressure, with trust instead of tension. Say, Saint Anthony, I don't know how, but I know you do. That sentence alone can break chains of fear and release waves of healing. When your soul finally lets go, your body can breathe again. You sleep better, smile more, think clearer. That's not an accident. That's what surrender feels like. It frees your mind, calms your heart, and draws the miracle closer. Surrender also teaches you to value the unseen, the quiet faith moments that no one claps for, lighting a candle alone, whispering a prayer in traffic, saying thank you when nothing has changed yet. These are the seeds of true transformation. Saint Anthony doesn't rush your journey. He walks at your pace. So even if you failed to surrender before, start again now. Each new moment is a new offering. Each act of letting go is a sacred key, unlocking divine solutions. And once your hands are open and your heart is still, you'll be ready for what comes next. Something even more powerful than surrender. Something that will carry you into full trust and supernatural expectation. Living as if the miracle already happened. Faith doesn't wait for the miracle to arrive before celebrating. It walks like the door has already opened, talks like the healing already started, breathes like the breakthrough is already on its way. That's the posture St. Anthony invites you into, not just to pray for the miracle, but to live as if it already came. It might sound strange. You're still in debt. The diagnosis hasn't changed. Your loved one hasn't called. But faith isn't about ignoring reality. It's about believing in a deeper truth, that God is already moving, that St. Anthony is already interceding, and that the delay is not denial. Start small. Smile again. Light your candle with expectation. Lay your clothes out for that job interview you haven't even scheduled yet. These are acts of prophetic faith. They say, I trust what I don't yet see. That's when heaven leans in and starts revealing what's been hidden. A man once prayed every day to find work. Nothing came for months. Then he started acting like he already had a job. He got up early, dressed professionally, worked on his skills. 2 weeks later, a position opened. Faith wasn't waiting. It was walking. Faith is movement, not frantic, forced movement, but deliberate, hopeful steps. Speak about your miracle as if it's already unfolding. Write it in your journal as if it happened. Thank St. Anthony as if the answer just arrived. Gratitude creates space for grace. There's something magnetic about a person who trusts like that. It shifts energy. It shifts outcomes. When you walk into a room expecting blessing, you carry a peace others notice. That's not arrogance, that's alignment with heaven's reality. Start declaring, I am already being healed. Provision is on the way. My family is being restored. St. Anthony is guiding me. These aren't empty words. They're faith-filled seeds. And when planted daily, they grow into visible miracles. Faith is not a denial of struggle. It's a decision to believe in the middle of it. You might still cry, but cry with hope. You might still feel fear, but walk forward anyway. Faith doesn't erase feelings. It overrides them with deeper confidence. St. Anthony doesn't wait for perfect conditions to move. He works in the middle of storms. So meet him there, in the mess, in the chaos. Say, even now I believe. That statement breaks chains. It opens doors. It invites heaven closer. You may never feel ready. That's okay. Faith rarely feels ready, but it chooses to show up, to say yes, to keep praying even when the room is silent, to keep walking even when the road is dark. Because that's when miracles are closest, when you least expect them. Do something today that reflects what you're praying for. Cook a meal like you're already healed. Clean your house like your guests are on the way. Revisit that dream you put aside. Faith acts now, not later. St. Anthony responds to expectation. Living in faith isn't pretending, it's preparing. It's making room for what's coming. And when it arrives, you won't be shocked, you'll be ready. Because deep down you always knew St. Anthony was working on your behalf. And now, with your heart postured in surrender and your spirit walking in trust, you are standing on the edge of your miracle. The only thing left is to receive it with open hands and a soul that finally believes it is done. Final blessing. May your heart be filled now with a peace so gentle it silences every fear. Let the touch of St. Anthony bring healing where there was pain, direction where there was confusion, and calm where there was chaos. You are not walking alone. Heaven has walked into your story. Let this be the beginning of something divine. For every person burdened by debt, may provision flow like a river. May the doors you could never open on your own now swing wide without effort. St. Anthony, guardian of the poor and the forgotten, is moving on your behalf. Expect divine resources. Expect help from unexpected places. To the ones praying for healing, place your hand over your body now. In the name of Jesus, through the intercession of St. Anthony, may sickness be replaced with strength, fatigue with vitality, and fear with unwavering hope. The healing has already begun. Claim it with faith. If your family is divided, may forgiveness be planted like a seed that grows quickly. Let every angry word be washed away by love. May St. Anthony soften every hardened heart and rebuild what was broken. Restoration is possible. Harmony is on its way. For those who feel forgotten or unseen, may this be your reminder. Heaven knows your name. St. Anthony has spoken it before the throne. You are known, you are wanted, you are pursued by a love that never gives up. Let that truth hold you tonight. To the ones who haven't slept in peace for weeks, may rest return to your soul. May you lie down tonight without worry. No racing thoughts, no fear of tomorrow, just the calm assurance that St. Anthony is handling what you've handed over. If doubt has robbed your confidence, may faith now rise like the morning sun, bright, warm, certain. You are not too late, you are not too broken. You are exactly where God can reach you. This prayer was not a coincidence. It was your divine appointment. May every act of surrender be met with reward. Every silent prayer be answered loudly. Every broken piece of your life be restored into something more beautiful than before. St. Anthony doesn't just return what's lost. He returns it multiplied. May this prayer linger in your heart like a melody of grace. Let it echo through your days, reminding you that you are covered, loved, and protected. St. Anthony walks ahead of you, clearing the path. Walk with confidence, walk with peace. For the one who almost gave up, this is your lifeline. You held on, and heaven noticed. The help you've needed is already on the way. The miracle you've whispered is being formed. This prayer sealed it. Now wait with expectation. Let joy return to your eyes. Let hope return to your words. Let your spirit be revived by the certainty that God has not forgotten you. Saint Anthony is still listening, still moving, still speaking your name in places you cannot yet see. This is your moment. Breathe it in. Receive the blessing. Walk forward as if the miracle has already arrived, because it has begun. And what Saint Anthony starts in prayer, heaven always finishes in power. What if everything changed today because you finally chose to believe? What would your life look like if you let go of fear and walked in expectation? Will you dare to speak as if the miracle has already happened? Will you keep this prayer in your heart even when the noise returns? Or will you forget what you felt in this sacred space? You've come this far for a reason. This was not just a video. It was an encounter. And no one leaves an encounter with St. Anthony the same. You are changed because heaven has touched your life. If this prayer touched your soul, don't keep it hidden. Click the like button and type Amen in the comments to seal this blessing over your life. Your Amen is not just a word. It's a spiritual agreement that you trust in what God is doing right now. Share this video with someone who needs a miracle today. One message could be the difference between despair and hope for a friend or family member. Let Saint Anthony's intercession reach farther through your hands. Be part of someone else's breakthrough. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful prayer. Every video is crafted with love, faith, and the promise of heaven's intervention. You belong to this family of faith now. We invite you to write your testimony in the comments below. If Saint Anthony has helped you, tell us. If you're still waiting, tell us that too. There's power in your story, and someone else might need the courage it brings. Finally, keep this flame alive. Share it on WhatsApp, in prayer groups, on Facebook. Let this miracle movement grow. You are not alone anymore. You are part of a spiritual family bound together by grace, prayer, and the love of Saint Anthony.